So
Okay.
next up is Jaron, and then Amir, you're after Jaron. Jaron's a fellow at the Massive Data Institute and just started this fall. And so welcome, Jaron, and let her rip.
Unmute. There we go. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Jaron Haber. Nice to meet many of you. I'm a new postdoc at MDI. I'm going to be talking to you about a case study, a proof of concept for how to use a supercomputer to help with literature review, drawing on both supervised and unsupervised methods. And this is with a collaborator at UC Berkeley and also a data scientist at Wayfair. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right, so you can't do academic literature without a literature review. To write something, you need to know what people have said before. We stand on the shoulders of giants, to use the Google Scholar catchphrase. The problem is there's a whole lot of text out there, a mountain of text. Even if you just look at journal articles since the 1700s, you see a logarithmic increase, an explosion. There's simply too much academic material to keep track of, and all of us probably encountered that to some extent. So the case I'm going to be making is how to use a computer to help supplement the human reader. So use the sort of the eye of the computer, which is good at doing fast tasks with sort of a superficial level understanding. We're not talking about human level understanding here, but using them as a supplement to a person's close reading. And applying this in particular to an online database of articles. These are some of the most massive digitized text repositories out there. JSTOR is the case and study here. And here's our workflow so far. JSTOR has a very nice data for research product. I encourage everyone to look at that if you're looking at doing anything with academic research and NLP. We filtered down to 70,000 articles that are full text, so they're very long. It's not a huge number of articles, but they're at least 2,000 to 3,000 words each. Use those to create some dictionaries based on expert knowledge and some foundational texts, and derive 36 key terms for 3 perspectives in organizational theory. I don't have time to go into them, but they are demographic, relational, and cultural. And then score engagement for each article and the average for a year in 2 measures I'll talk about in a minute, and use that to compare the perspectives and measures over time. All right, so the key measure I use here is something we call engagement, which is simply a measure of how much the articles on average for a subject in a given year engage with one of these perspectives. How much do they use it? And we measure that in 2 ways, based on word counts. So JSTOR provides these n-gram files. They pre-process all the text for you. And you simply take the number of words from a dictionary for each perspective, the current article divided by the total number of words in the article. It's a ratio. And they've removed stop words already, so it's relatively clean. The other way is using a custom word-to-vec model that we built using the 70,000 articles, and vectorize the articles by taking all their word vectors and getting the centroid, vectorize the perspective dictionaries in the same way, and you take the cosine of the angle between them. It's a measure of similarity from 0 to 1. So let me give you just a few quick results here. If you look at the relational perspective and sociology, you can see here both the central tendency, which is the median yellow line in the middle, and a bit of the range, the 75th percentile on the top and the 25th below. And you see it's pretty consistent. It's a bit rocky. There's some change, maybe some noise, but in general, maybe a mild uptick, but pretty consistent. In comparison, if you look at the other discipline we studied, management and organizational behavior, there's a pretty definitive growth here, probably more rocky, and there's a bit of a crater around 2000 for some reason, but on the whole, it's growing. And we haven't yet identified the articles that have caused this growth, but you see what this is capable of doing just as like a very broad perspective on how the literature is changing. So what have I tried to show you is it's possible to create a custom text representation for computational literature review, which we've done, and supplement human reading. And in particular, I found some evidence that I think the relational perspective is the most common, and management and OB may be more faddish. They use these perspectives more, and they use them increasingly so, more so over time. As far as next steps for this, refining the embeddings approach by expanding the dictionaries, training some separate models, but also trying to understand a bit of the mechanics underneath the hood here by using citation data or maybe some more granular models to look at how the perspectives are used together in competition. And that is all the time that I have, and I appreciate any questions or suggestions. Thank you.